Hello, sleepy friends. Dawn here from Positively Narcolepsy and Going Beyond Coping. This is another in my Wednesday series, What Happens If I Don't? Today's topic is what happens if I don't stay in bed? Meaning, waking up, you keep trying to go back to sleep to get those few precious minutes of sleep, primarily is what I'm talking about. I love helping people cope, and I feel like it's my purpose, why I suffered through everything I did, so I could go out and say, hey, try this, and help people in the process. It makes me feel really good to do it, and that's why I'm here. That's why I have the Positively Narcolepsy group, and the page, and the Going Beyond Coping channel on YouTube, and my blog. Narcolepsy is really difficult to navigate alone, and doctors and mental health professionals can't give you the same perspective as someone who's been living with it for 38 years. So I felt that my voice was important, and that's why I'm here. Okay, being sleep deprived often keeps me from noticing simple things. Like, I worked in the same building for 3 or 4 weeks before I noticed they had a mailbox right at the front door. I just walked past it and never saw it. So, listening to other people, reading things, going through the groups and paying attention to what other people are doing can give you tips like, oh, well, I never thought to try that, so let me try that. So the brain is small compared to the rest of the body, but it uses up 20% of the energy that the body consumes. 20%, that's like a fifth, that's a lot. So as you start to lose your energy, your processing power slows right down. Sleep deprivation leads to all kinds of things. It's like when you try to shoot a video, but you only have like 15% battery on your phone, and your phone's like, oh no, we're not doing this. See you later. And that's essentially what happens with our ability to pay attention and notice things. So every morning was just awful for me for most of my life. I mean, they named me Dawn, even though I was born at noon. And noon was about when I would get up at the height before my diagnosis, and for a while after, I slept 12 to 18 hours a day. So I know all about the sleeping part. I noticed that I would wake up sometimes, before the alarm went off. Everybody probably does that. I mean, most people don't sleep completely till their alarm, their bladder wakes them, they have a bad dream, whatever. In those times, if I wake up, I would go back to sleep, and it would be torturous. It would be loopy dreams, or I just closed my eyes and then the alarm went off. Like it felt like I didn't even sleep at all. And narcolepsy is a segmented sleep disorder. So this is the distribution of sleep stages over a 24-hour period. The orange is REM sleep, where you're dreaming. The purple is non-REM. And the white is wakefulness. So most normies have something that looks like this. They sleep and dream in there, and then the rest of the time they're awake. But for us, we don't get that same bit. We get segments. And if you can notice your segments, it's a lot easier to try and shove your life into narcolepsy rather than shoving narcolepsy into your life. Like, trying to work a full-time job is very difficult when you're so sleep deprived. So every little thing that you can teach yourself to give yourself a little bit more wakefulness is an ideal thing. So at the same time, I was interested in like what was happening in the morning with the waking up and the fitful dreams. I was also a very frazzled mom. I think that the two kind of went hand in hand. You know, the more stress you have, the less calm you are, the crazier your dreams are, and the more intense, etc. So, being frazzled and having loopy dreams kind of goes together. Uh, I didn't have any time for myself. I was up 6 o'clock, run, kids to school, work, nap, work, pick up the kids, come home. By the time I made dinner, that was pretty much it for me. I was done. So I wasn't getting any time for me. It was all running for someone else. And that can make you really resentful. You can feel really taken advantage of by the people around you. Um, so instead of going back to sleep, like say the alarm, 6 o'clock is when I have to get up and get everybody up. So say I wake up at 5 and I'm just awake and maybe I have to go to the bathroom. Maybe I don't know why I woke up. Maybe I had a bad dream that woke me up. And I have an hour to sleep. But what happens if I don't stay in bed? What happens if I get up? So I started doing it. I dragged myself out of bed and brushed my teeth and put some music in my headphones and, you know, start that whole waking up process and make some coffee, sit down outside, have my phone. Sometimes I'm coloring, helps me get off the screen and get some quiet time in my own head. I was finding things to laugh about, like going through Facebook at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the dark outside having a coffee, and I'm laughing. I don't have the energy to do anything else, but I have the energy to laugh. And that was restorative for me, taking that me time to just do what I wanted to do with nobody pulling on my skirt or expecting anything from me. I could just be. So, reading here. That extra sleep that you get between 5 and 6, if you do wake up, it comes with a premium. Like if you sleep through till 6 o'clock, I do that sometimes on the weekends. I don't have my alarm set, so Friday night I'll sleep, and in the morning I'll my computer screen just came on and it's distracting me, sorry. I'll let myself sleep in past 4:10, which is when I get up now. But I usually end up waking up by 6 anyway. And then once I have that first awakening, like I can tell in my brain if going back to sleep is going to be beneficial or not. So just know that what you can do and what you should do are not always the same thing. You can go back to sleep until 6, but should you? And the best thing you can do for yourself is to run some experiments. You've got the rest of your days living with narcolepsy. As of today, there's no cure, and meds are only a band-aid. They don't fix, and it doesn't go away. Just like people who have apnea, insomnia, chronic pain, it's a lifelong thing. So you may have times that you cope better than others, and I hope you do. But your meat suit's faulty, and there's no operating manual for each individual model, so or any model. So you got to keep trying to figure out how to take care of you best. That's on you. Meds are a prop, and diet is good, and all those other things are good, but the majority of the work for people with chronic illness has to happen up here, because it's your thoughts that control everything that you're doing. Okay, try to notice your patterns. I know mine. I'm up at 4:10. I get like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then I lay down with my husband for a half an hour before we have to get up. Sometimes I sleep, most of the time I don't. I use that time to meditate. And then I'm up until 1 o'clock around in the afternoon. I take a nap, 40-minute nap then, and then back to work on some days, off to get my kid from school other days. And then about 5:30 I have another 40-minute nap, and then I'm good till 10:30. And that's it. I mean, it's not a question of it's just the way my life flows best. And I discovered that by continuously asking myself the question, what happens if I don't? What happens if I don't skip my nap? What happens if I do skip my nap? And then figuring out what's the better thing to do. And you can't always shove that into your life. You know, your work situation, your family situation might not permit that. But you need to push the boundaries to as close to what's best for you as you can. And you won't know what that is unless you try stuff. Let's see. Oh, a lot of us have a tell. So I can tell when a nap is going to be coming. I feel like someone's unplugged something in my brain. And from there, the sleep deprivation symptoms increase until either I take a nap or my brain naps without my permission, and I just fall asleep. So for me, it's my eyes lose focus. I'll be looking at something and I can't focus. They're like out of focus. I get brain fog, forget what I was doing, restless leg syndrome, my eyes hurt, big yawns, and it just continues to get worse. If I push past the point where I should have napped, I start heading into psychosis and hallucinations. And narcolepsy is classified as 3 days sleep deprived. So if you look at what the typical symptoms that come with 72 hours of sleep deprivation, you're dealing with that every day. And you can't expect other people to completely understand that, because unless they've lived it, they just can't. Navy SEALs train at 5 days sleep deprivation, but only for a limited time. You've been rocking this. You're almost in Navy SEAL training for as long as you've been dealing with your symptoms. You're very strong. Don't forget that. Okay, where was I? Oh, I asked in the group if anybody else had a tell, and a lot of people had tells. Let's see, some of the things they said were dropping things, increased brain fog, having a hard time answering questions, having a hard time understanding what other people are saying, body temperature changes. The temperature controls for the brain are in the hypothalamus, where sleep-wake are also regulated. So you got to know there's damage there, then it's affected. So, you know, everything you can do to support your hypothalamus. Side note here, I've been dabbling with the Wim Hof breathing method, and I've dropped a couple symptoms. My POTS response when I bend over to brush my teeth, I'm not having that anymore. And I would have a lot of like clearing out my sinuses as I brush my teeth. I know, sorry, that's kind of gross, but that stopped happening. I'm not having that anymore. It's a very deep breathing, like oxygenating your brainstem. It like lights up on an MRI when the guy does it, and so it's science. Wim Hof, W-I-M-H-O-F breathing method. If you wanted to check that out, I'm really happy. It's helping me regulate my body temperature better. I used to be freezing, and now I'm not. I can go outside in dresses when it's only 55, and that I would need like jacket and pants for before. So good support of the hypothalamus. It doesn't do anything for my narcolepsy in terms of I still have it, because I don't produce hypercrin, whatever. I don't have the regulator, but I have yawned less at work, and have had less brain fog. So that's good. I'll do a separate video about that. So if you can figure out what your tell is, then you can try and jump ahead of it and take a nap before. Like the second you start to get symptoms that you know a sleep episode is coming, start making plans to go take a nap. So I'm at work. I'm fortunate. I have contract work. So I come and go as I please. And if I have to leave, I have to leave. And there's never any problem with it. Of course, I'm responsible with that, so that helps. But as soon as I have my first sense of disconnect, I start wrapping up everything that's on my desk and getting ready to go down to my car. And I take a 40-minute nap in my car, and then I wake myself back up, have a drink, eat something, whatever. I actually like to eat before I go sleep because eating often makes me tired. And if I'm not going to be physically active, the food will make me nod off at my desk. So, yeah, if you have an hour for lunch, see if you can incorporate a nap. The best thing to do is what I call a nap time test, where say you get that first wall where you're like, okay, I know if I keep pushing, because I've been paying attention, I know if I keep pushing, I'm going to end up having a sleep episode. So let me try and sleep and see what happens. And then you set an alarm for 10 minutes. I know that does not seem like a lot of time, but if you go into the bigger groups, you will see people can sleep for 10 minutes and be restored for a few hours or an hour or whatever longer to help them get through their day. If 10 minutes doesn't make things better for you, then try 20 minutes for a couple of days and see if that makes a difference. And if it's good, keep it. If it's not good, try 30. And then 40 if you can. It depends on your life, of course. What can you fit in there? But do yourself the favor of trying. If you don't try, you can't know. And you just really never know what's going to help you and what's not. I don't have these symptoms during the day if I go sleep for 40 minutes. I don't get them. They don't come. It's very cool that you can do that, to jump in front of it and give yourself a little bit of sleep so your deprivation level goes less sleep, more wakefulness. I'm trying to find the words here. So, yeah, you got to put it through the U filter and figure out what's best for you, but try something, for goodness sake. All right, so hopefully you're starting to get the idea from this video series, what happens if I don't, that you can do this with any question in your life. If there's something that you're doing and maybe you don't feel great about it, or you want it to be better or different, you can ask yourself, what happens if I don't do what I always did? You do what you always did, you get the same result every time. Doing it continuously is the very definition of insanity. So if you can, try something different and just see what happens. It's like magic. Okay. There are hesitance to change comes about from either not noticing that a change is needed, not knowing what to do about it to change it, or being afraid to try. I suffered from all three of those things for a very long time. So instead of just making huge changes or beating myself up for things, I did some experiments. I just started asking myself, what happens if I don't do what I always did, and just seeing what happens. And I ended up surpassing coping and going straight into thriving. And I have 9 disorders and my life is very challenging. This is a 20-minute video where you get to see me all happy and energized and talking, and my whole day is not like that. I probably have 7 to 10 symptoms right now, and I just ignore them as best I can and try and do what I think is right. That's what the whole deal is. No one knows what they're doing. No one. They just don't. I'm going to keep repeating that until people get it. Everybody's just guessing. So I'm going to wrap up now, close to 20 minutes here. if you enjoy listening to my stuff, please like it, comment on it, and share it. That's the only way that you get any cred with Facebook without paying for advertising. And I am not making any money off of this, so I don't want to have to pay for advertising. And people need this stuff. If you've had narcolepsy for any length of time, you know that you need guides. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So you can also find me on my blog at goingbeyondcoping.com and on YouTube, Going Beyond Coping without any spaces. And I recently posted on my blog the first week digest of my daily dose of positivity email blast. So if you go to the page sometime around September 18th, which is the day I'm shooting this, the 19th, I don't even know what day it is, you'll see it in there, daily dose, the week of September 9th to the 13th. That's going to give you an idea of the kind of content that I'm sending out every day to help you get through your day, and if you're interested, you can sign up for it. I don't do anything with the email list. I don't even look at it. I just create the campaigns and send it to the same list every day. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go to goingbeyondcoping.com and in the search bar type in DOSE, D-O-S-E, and you will find the information on it, the digest or the sign up page. That's it, wrapping it up. I'll be back next Wednesday with another What Happens If I Don't. I'm not sure what I'm talking about yet, so can't tell you. You'll have to come back to the page Wednesday next week to find out. Thanks for watching, and make it a great day. Choice is always yours.